Training and Education Director. He is here with some tips for us to stay focused on the roads. Good morning. Thanks
Good morning.
for being here.
Thank you.
You know, I think sometimes when people use the generic term distracted driving, the first thing, and maybe for some people the only thing that comes to mind, is texting, but it goes beyond that.
Yeah, distraction really is about, it's not about, I mean, cell phones are the leading distraction because so many people use them, but distraction is about time, right? Every time I'm doing something that's going to take my focus away from being able to operate my vehicle, that time that I'm not focusing on operating gives you the opportunity for something to happen that's unexpected, whether it be somebody hitting their brakes in front of you,
Exactly.
somebody cutting you off, an animal running in front of
deer,
you,
yeah.
right? So distraction is all about time.
Right.
And as an example, so I was a police officer in Denver for 20 years, and one of the worst crashes I investigated, the distraction was a water bottle, right? It was a 15-passenger van full of firefighters that were on their way to a forest fire. They were smoke jumpers from Idaho.
Okay.
And they had stopped and got gas and some snacks at a gas station. They're on the interstate doing 75 miles an hour. The cruise control set, right? The driver had a water bottle that was in a cup holder that sat between two captain's chairs in the front of the van. And, you know, one hand on the wheel goes down to unscrew the lid, right, of the water bottle. And of course, he's not watching the road as he's doing this, right? And his hand drifts the wheel
Sure.
to the right. So when he comes up after about 3 seconds, he's over on the shoulder doing 75, the cruise is set. So he panics, jerks the wheel to the left to bring it back into the lane. The van turns sideways and flips 7 times down the center of the interstate and killed 7 firefighters
Because of
over a bottle of water. So sometimes, you know, I mean, cell phones get the biggest billing, and
Sure.
they are the leading cause of crashes in the U.S. now. But anything that we do within our vehicle that takes our focus away is time we can't afford.
we see people eating, we've seen people putting on makeup, we see people on the phone, we see all these different things, maybe not so much in the brand new vehicles, but in vehicles that are a few years older that have CD players. We see people monkeying with their music. What are some things that we can do before we hit the road so that we're prepared once we hit the road?
Oh, Wayne, I'm so glad you asked that, because obviously one of the controversies right now is that newer vehicles are becoming bigger and larger screens being,
Exactly.
you know, and that screen is a distraction. And so the idea there is that anything from setting your heat, setting your air conditioning, picking your music, anything that you can do while the vehicle's not in motion is going to make you safer. And that really also includes hands-free, right?
Sure.
Hands-free technology is just, you don't have to hold a phone. It doesn't make you safer. There's been over 30 studies done with all sorts of traffic safety institutes, including University of North Carolina and others, where there's been no statistical difference between somebody who's using hands-free technology and somebody who's holding the phone to their head. In other words, they crash just as much.
You know, we were talking before we came during the commercial break, and I said, why is it I can have a conversation with my wife sitting beside me and it's not distracting, but as soon as I'm on the phone, even though it's hands-free, it's a whole different ballgame, and there's a reason behind that.
Yeah, it's because your brain processes it differently, right? So we're having this chat right now.
Yeah.
Right, if you were talking to me on the phone, my brain would form a mental photograph of you, and if I was driving, it would be road, Wayne, road.
Yeah.
You know, it's constant. I can't completely focus on one or the other. That's why, if people are honest with themselves, if you can probably remember a time when you were on hands-free,
Yeah.
where you still missed a turn, right? You
It
still
could be. Yeah.
forgot momentarily where you were or something. That's because it's the conversation. It's not the device that's the issue.
Okay, we're down under a minute now. What is a safe driving app? You talk about that.
Yeah, so some phones come built in, right? But there's a lot of apps that you can download for free that, hey, as soon as the car's in motion, right? And then if somebody sends you a text or reaches out to you on social media, anything like that, they'll get a message, hey, it's not safe for me to get back to you right now. And it's really about, we don't have to get rid of our phones. It's about just being smarter about how we use them.
Yeah, and I have a very, very dear coworker, co-anchor who has that. You send her a text if she's in the car. It says, "Hey, I'm busy right
Yeah,
now. I'm driving.
yeah.
I'll get back to you when I can." Don, where do we get more information? Golly, this could go on for another 5 minutes, but we're running out of time. Give us
Yeah,
give
go
us a
to
direction.
our website, ndsc.org, right? Visit the North Dakota Safety Council's website. We encourage everybody to take classes, right? Defensive driving and Alive at 25, where you're going to learn how to manage those distractions, and you also going to get credit for your insurance,
Yeah, exactly.
and also point reduction off tickets as well.
Check it out because it could be worth your while.
Yeah,
Don, thank
absolutely.
you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.